¿Qué tal, gente? ¿Cómo estáis? Bienvenidos un día más. Vamos a continuar con The Council, donde lo habíamos dejado el último día, buscando, o mejor dicho, reuniéndonos con el resto de los invitados en la salita. Así que vamos allá. No teníamos nada por aquí para saquear, ¿verdad? Lo que sí vamos a hacer es aprovechar, ahí está, y tomarnos consumibles. Vale, la salita que tiene que ser por aquí abajo, parece.
Emily, I must speak to you.
What's the matter, Louis? About last night, I'm guessing.
Sadly, no. Even if I'd like to have, alas, there are more pressing matters. I have news about your sister.
What have you found out?
Look, I've started piecing together the events leading up to my mother's disappearance and your sister's. Did my mother know about your secret?
Yes, even though I belong to the English chapter, her rank in the Order gives her access to a good deal of personal information.
It must have been Emma I saw in my vision.
I was given to understand that my mother and your sister bonded during their stay. If Mother's really killed her sister, I'd better find her by myself. They say they spent a lot of time together. They got along well.
Oh, really? Do you think your mother liked Duchess Hillsborough?
Of course she did. After all, she's your sister. Well, we'll find them, Emily. Trust me.
Should I speak to her about my vision? If what I saw is true, she might want to take revenge.
Nos la jugamos, va.
Emily, there's something else.
Go on, then.
It's
A ver, este rasgo que nos da un punto de lógica. Veremos cuál lógica es esa decisión.
your sister. I don't know what happened exactly, but it's possible that my mother had a go at her.
I know, Louis. I found out that same evening. Well, thanks for not trying to hide it.
What? Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't know if I could trust you. Now I know I can. It seems that your mother tricked Emma. She apparently asked her to hide an important book, so that even she wouldn't know where it was. And then she shot her like a dog to make sure no one would ever find it again.
Why would she do that?
I don't know, Louis. But I'll find out. You can count on that.
I'm sincerely sorry, Emily.
Thank you, Louis. You're very kind. It means a lot to me. But you do realize your mother will have to accept the consequences of her acts.
There must be an explanation, Emily.
That's what we shall see.
We'll speak about it later, somewhere safe.
Come, Louis. They're waiting for us.
Bueno.
You will pay dearly, Peru. I'm sure you were involved somewhere along the line.
That's right. Pretend you don't know. One piece of advice. Don't travel through France on your way back, or it'll cost you dearly.
Calm now, my friends. Let's calm down. Everyone seems to be a little unnecessarily heated. Don't forget where you are, please.
What's going on here exactly?
Sir Gregory called us together to introduce the last guest.
But hardly had we arrived when he set upon Monsieur Peru.
And who is this charming character?
Manuel Godoy, the Duke of La Alcudia.
He's the head of the Spanish government, Monsieur de Richet. He's the
Conflicto
one
entre
who
español y francés, qué raro.
Spain.
How could you dare do such a thing? Dios mío, you are all out of your minds!
Really, Duke Manuel? What made you kick up such a fuss?
What? Have you not heard? Well, let me inform you that yesterday morning at 10:22 a.m. precisely, in the middle of the Place de la Révolution in Paris, by decree of the National Convention which Monsieur Peru works for, King Louis was guillotined.
What?
The King of France is dead, gentlemen. Our monarchies are in danger. I have said it before.
How dare they?
Oh dear.
Oh, as if
Friends, let us calm down.
Don't pretend to be surprised. He got a fair trial.
Ridiculous. Bastard. He was sentenced to death by 361 votes to 360. You beheaded a king for 1 vote. Is that your democracy?
What an obnoxious act. Until this, anything was possible. This political coup will have grave consequences.
France is lost.
Gentlemen, please. Let us take a step back a moment.
In the name of holiness. He was the highest representative of God in France, Emily.
If I remember rightly, what Mother told me one night, King Louis was secretly also part of the Order. I wonder what impact his death will have on us. Sad news, sir.
With whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Louis de Richet.
Are you related to Sarah de Richet?
Sarah is his mother, Duke. Gentlemen, this news affects us all, but I must ask you to remain calm. It's not the first time history has taken us by surprise. Let's ensure that our respective countries are allowed to respond appropriately to this news.
Oh, rest assured, the response will not fall short, my friend.
Good for you. Well, Your Grace, here I was preparing to introduce you as is proper, and you've beaten me to it. I'm delighted that we are all together at last. Our meeting will therefore be able to kick off shortly. I have just a few more little preparations to take care of before you all find out the reason for your presence here. In the meantime, I shall leave you to get to know one another. When you hear the bell, please proceed to the conclave room on my left, behind that door. I'll see you later.
¿Dónde tenemos a Godoy? Manuel Godoy, secretario de Estado y jefe del gobierno español. Siendo uno de los favoritos del rey Carlos IV de España, Godoy ascendió rápidamente por los escalafones políticos. Fue amante de la reina María Luisa de Borbón-Parma, por lo que suscitó la envidia de muchos príncipes españoles. Como secretario de Estado, desarrolló y reforzó el imperio colonial español, especialmente en las Américas. Fue un gran amigo de Louis de Richet, rey de Francia, y luchó en vano por la liberación del rey. Esto alimentó el resentimiento que sentía hacia el gobierno republicano francés. Tras recibir la invitación de Sir Gregory Hall, Godoy llegó a la mansión de Lord Mortimer con la firme intención de apaciguar las pretensiones expansionistas de los Estados Unidos de América en su continente.
Could you spare a moment, please, sir?
I'm glad you asked. I want to talk to you too. Of course.
I heard about your mother's disappearance.
He looks concerned. I don't know why, but I doubt it's from sympathy alone. Well, let's see what he wants from me.
Any news of her? Have you found her, maybe?
Why? Is there something you particularly wanted from her?
No, not specially.
My questions made him feel uneasy, but he's keeping his emotions under control.
Your mother and I used to often speak together. I have rarely met someone so learned. To tell you the truth, I was about to make a deal with her. Did she tell you about our arrangement?
The cat's out of the bag now. More or less, but please do refresh my memory.
Yes, of course. Nothing of great importance in itself. During one of our discussions, she spoke of an old book, which might have been of interest to me, and she had agreed to let me have it.
A book about what?
Ancient occultism. As you are aware, I am a doctor of theology. You might have come across some old books In her belongings, perhaps?
As my mother's got so many old books, I'm afraid I won't be able to...
Oh, it's easy. You can't mistake this one. It's an ancient grimoire, composed of 7 parts. Each one is closed under lock and key. It was made in such a way that if someone tried to tamper with it, the sheets would be permanently tarnished. If you find it, you mustn't tamper with it. You see?
That's unusual. Unfortunately, that doesn't ring a bell. I'll look again, but I wouldn't get my hopes up. You seem very upset. Is it so important to you, this book?
Well, it's the search of a lifetime. What can I say? Every time I move closer to it, it seems to slip away at the last minute. I was very surprised to learn that your mother had it in her possession. I thought it was with a certain von Borchardt in Paris. Do you know him?
Indeed. One of your close friends?
No, not really, but we were close once. Precisely over the case that concerns us now, because he claimed to have the book I'm looking for.
Another dishonest person. What can you say? Can't trust anyone these days, huh?
No, you can't.
I hope I've been able to satisfy your curiosity, Mr. von Wollner, and that you succeed in finding what you're looking for.
Oh, and so do I.
And now, what if you told me who you really are working for, instead of keeping up this pretense?
I beg your pardon?
We both know what you're looking for, von Wollner. You're the one who von Borchardt was planning to sell it to.
For centuries, all those who have come into contact with the Al-Azif have bitterly regretted it, Monsieur de Richet. You are playing a dangerous game. Please know that I am working for someone who does not appreciate anyone poking around in his business.
Let me guess.
Coño. Rey de Prusia, no tendría sentido, sería como muy evidente. Holm o Mortimer. Lord Mortimer o Holm. Holm es el tío este que tiene la cara toda maquillada, puede ser, el que es el amigo de Mortimer. Voy a apostar por este, porque este también es como que se me hace muy evidente, ¿no? Que sea el jefe de la mansión. Vamos a tirar por aquí.
It's Sir Gregory.
Correct. You ought to know then. He is not a man who likes to be duped. You are walking on thin ice, sir.
Soy el puto Sherlock, coño. Vaya chiripa. Pero bien deducido, ¿eh? Vale, un poquito de ámbar. No, jalea real. Para que ámbar era lo que te sumaba puntos. Vale, voy a refrescar. ¿Qué cojones hacían estas mierdas? A ver. 2 puntos de esfuerzo. Cura alteraciones negativas. Revela temporalmente las inmunidades de los... Vale. Y la próxima habilidad no tiene coste. Ok. Vale, no tenemos penalizaciones. Vale. Tenemos por aquí a este jugando al ajedrez. Vamos a ver si hay algo... Oh, aquí hay algo para saquear. A ver. ¿Tenemos esta llave o no? Sí, increíble. ¿Qué mierda es esto? Cago en los... Elixir dorado. Y el elixir dorado... cura las alteraciones negativas. Me cago en la puñeta. Vale, a ver, este libro. Páginas arrancadas de una enciclopedia antigua. ¿De cuál? A ver. ¿No nos dice de cuál o es esto? Nota de la Biblia. No. Tuvo que ser de esta. 3 de 5, creo, ¿no? La enciclopedia. ¡Oh! La tenemos entera ya. ¡Qué bueno! Hay que meter esto para la siguiente misión, que nos da un punto de ciencias, uno en lingüística y uno en erudición. Muy top ese libro. Vale, epa. Objeto añadir al inventario y la enciclopedia. Vale. Y las crónicas de Ámbar.
As I recall, Dorkin was my favorite character.
Dworkin. Suena a Darwin mezclado con lenguaje enano. Vamos a ver. Por aquí no tenemos nada. O sea, vamos a tener que jugar por cojones con Napoleón. Ahora, ¿qué hay por aquí? Una moneda parece, ¿no?
Cash.
Cash. Vale. Parece que no hay nada más, ¿verdad? Por este lado no hay nada. Bueno, pues... Ah, también podemos ir aquí. Bueno, vamos a jugar con Lord Gabacho al ajedrez. A ver qué se cuenta.
Monsieur Bonaparte, may I speak with you a moment?
May we?
What do you think of Duke Godoy?
Well, I'd rather not express any opinion of him.
Why is that?
His reputation is enough for me.
There are some rumors about his loose morals.
Juste, monsieur. Add to that his devouring ambition, if you want my opinion. Playing at lover boy rather than gaining merit for his career. It's a disgrace for any soldier.
I understand your point of view. Would you have any more information about the conference Lord Mortimer spoke of?
Nothing at all. Mortimer is very committed to secrecy when it comes to his conferences. But given the presence of Monsieur Peru and ourselves, I think it must concern France to some extent. Otherwise, I doubt he would have invited 3 Frenchmen to his table, huh?
Yo no hubiese invitado ni a uno.
Does
Pesadilla.
expression "go beyond the nightmare" mean anything to you at all?
Well, metaphorically, yes. It sums up the career of a soldier quite well. I doubt that is what you want to hear, though.
Indeed. That's surely not what I'm looking for.
Well, monsieur, if you are looking for a phrase book, Lord Mortimer must surely have one, given the number of books he has. You ought to check in the library of the tower. You never know.
Vale. Y aquí teníamos, creo que, una segunda opción, pero bueno, vamos a dejarlo de
I'll be
momento.
leaving you now. Shall we meet up again later?
Wait, monsieur. Any news of your mother?
Unfortunately not, no.
I hope to speak with her about my deal before I leave. Let me know if you find her. À plus tard, monsieur.
Vale, pues lo dejamos aquí como buen estratega jugando solo al ajedrez. Y vamos a ver qué hay detrás de esta puerta. Descubre más pistas sobre la nota de tu madre. ¿Dónde coño está esa nota? Debemos marcharnos con urgencia, pero primero es imperativo que vaya más allá de la pesadilla. Vale, siempre hay curiosidad. A ver si aparte de esta puerta hay algo más por aquí. Me estoy yendo por donde no es. Esto está bloqueado. Bueno, pues visto lo visto, por aquí no hay nada más. Ay, hay alteraciones negativas. Vale, las alteraciones negativas eran el 2, puede ser. Elixir dorado, efectivamente. Y ya que gasto esto, vamos a venir aquí a recargar que esto... Ahí está. Vale, podemos ir por ahí arriba, pero no vamos a ir. Porque hay que ponerse de charleta. Estoy viendo por allá al fondo a alguien. A ver aquí si tenemos algo para coger. Monedas de colección. De nuevo ahí podemos sentarnos, pero no vale para nada. Vale, pues vamos a ir a hablar con el señor Washington. A ver qué se cuenta.
Go beyond the nightmare. Does this line remind you of anything in particular?
You've caught me unaware here, Louis. Let me think about it a second. No, nothing comes to mind. Sorry, Louis, but I am unable to help you.
A ver si sabe algo de Godoy.
Mr. President, what do you think about your counterpart, Duke Manuel?
I'm very surprised he was able to accept Lord Mortimer's invitation, given the political situation in Spain.
Vamos a darle al... Creo que es el 4 el que no gastaba. Ahí está. Ahora nos vale 0.
The situation is ready to explode with France over Catalonia.
Well, the Duke must have a darn good reason to be absent and come here, mustn't he?
When Lord Mortimer invites you, Louis, you come. It's always in your best interest.
I wouldn't say that personally, but...
De pesadilla y conferencia.
Mr. President, can you tell me a little more about the coming conference?
Of course, Louis. That's why we're here. Lord Mortimer or Sir Gregory regularly organize meetings like this to put forward major projects.
What do you mean by major projects?
I'd prefer to let Lord Mortimer explain that to you, Louis. Let's say he brings together influential people in order to consider possible actions to undertake to guarantee the future of nations.
Do you know the theme of the conference?
Not in the slightest. None of the guests know the theme before arriving. But you'll see, everything will turn out fine. Don't worry.
Ok.
Well, thank you for your time.
Don't mention it, my young friend. Regarding your question on the nightmare, don't hesitate to question the others about it. Maybe one of them knows more than I do.
That's a good idea. Thank you once again. I'll see you in a little bit.
Vale, muy bien. A ver un momento, esto es las simulaciones que afectan a tus elecciones. Vale, podemos venir por aquí y con esto tendríamos investigada toda la parte de abajo. Así que a ver a quién tenemos en el Salón Escarlata. Antes de nada, ¿hay algo por saquear? Libros, no. El puñetero cura, a ver qué nos cuenta.
Ah, Louis. Just the man. Good Lord. How did the king
No se camufla el hijo puta.
I would think that the order
Rojo
would have
y oro.
intervened.
Vale, vamos a darle al 3. Inmunidad. El rey empeoró la situación. Vale, o sea que este es inmune. Pues vamos a darle aquí.
Your Eminence, I haven't been following the case. I'm sure that the Order did everything in its power. Unfortunately, you know the situation in Paris, and, well, it's chaotic at best. Anything can happen in those revolutionary tribunals.
The king is the official representative of God on earth, my son.
Your Eminence, France has become a secular state. The king was just another citizen to them. He refused to admit his errors, looked down upon them, and attempted to escape. What did he expect?
France has lost all reason, Louis.
I invite you to speak about it with my mother as soon as she reappears.
Is there any news of her?
I hope it won't be long before I find her, Your Eminence.
Now you wanted to speak to me.
I'm sure a man like you is in the circle of trust. Would you know what the conference that Lord Mortimer mentioned is going to be about?
Not really, my son. Well, be it Lord Mortimer or Sir Gregory, we are never informed about the theme of the conference before it begins.
Vale, vamos a preguntar sobre la pesadilla.
If I say the nightmare to you, does it make you think of anything?
Your question is strange, my son. Difficult to say. Could you at least tell me a little more about the context?
Think of a place and tell me the first thing that comes into your mind when I say the nightmare.
Let me think. I'd say Lord Mortimer's favorite painting on the wall behind his desk. You know, that painting caused quite a stir when it was exhibited. It is titled The Nightmare, and it shows a woman lying down with a creature sitting on her. And in the background, a horse. I don't know if it will be of any help, but I can't think of anything else.
You never know. Thank you for that, though, Your Eminence. I gotta go and see it just in case, though. I was wondering what to think of that Manuel Godoy.
He is reputed to be a very ambitious character, at every level. But his faith is unwavering. He is a staunch defender of the church. You can believe me.
What? Distracción bloqueada. Conozco su reputación. ¿Qué coño? No me dejan... No me dejan hacer nada. Bueno, pues nada. No tomar nota.
Thank you for everything, Your Eminence. I shan't take up any more of your time.
You are welcome, my son. I will be seeing you, Louis.
Bueno, sabemos que detrás de la mesita del Mortimer tiene un cuadro importante. Pero antes de ir ahí, saquear. A ver si hay algo por aquí que valga la pena. Que de un capítulo a otro a veces meten cositas. Y hemos gastado consumibles. A ver. Jalea real. Bien. Vale. Y por aquí... Esto era... Si no me equivoco, la biblioteca. ¿Puede ser? Galería de retratos. Patatean, patatán. Vale. Tenemos que ir... a donde el otro. Vamos a ver, vamos a ver. A ver qué hay detrás de ese cuadro. Tenemos que volver a hablar con...
What do you want, Louis?
What do you think of our last guest?
Well, I never thought I would get the chance to meet that Hispanic Casanova in the flesh. His reputation is well known. The gentleman collects lovers, including, would you believe it, the Queen of Spain.
The Queen of Spain likes to indiscreetly say, the King, Godoy, and myself make up the Holy Trinity. The people have appropriately renamed them the Goat, the Ruffian, and the Whore.
I didn't see you being a mudslinger in your idle hours, I must say.
Emily, what can you tell me about the coming conference?
Sir Gregory and Lord Mortimer organize this kind of high society meeting every so often in order to consider the world situation.
But to what purpose?
Well, by bringing together the most influential people from the dominant nations of the modern world, they allow the mighty to discuss matters with calm clarity. There are precedents of armistices being signed at the end of these talks, you know. Talking while holding a glass of brandy makes things easier. You'll see. You're leaving me?
Unfortunately, I have things to do. Thank you again, madam.
Mirar esa puta tarta de... Debe ser, no sé, de queso con arándanos. Dando una gula. Vamos a seguir. Vale, creo que hemos acertado el camino, ¿verdad? Por aquí, efectivamente.
So, what did my mother mean by going beyond
Vale,
the nightmare?
estamos en el estudio. No hay nada que saquear, ¿no? A priori parece... esto es un cofre. ¿Este cofre se puede abrir o...? No. Cofre trampa. Epa. Ajá. Moneda de colección, vale. ¿Este no es el viejales? ¿Este es el cuadro? No.
A family ancestor,
No, decía que estaba detrás. Vale. Algo brilla en este té antes de nada. Vamos a ver.
That's what you generally feed birds.
Pues cogemos las bayas, se las damos al puto pájaro ese.
Might come in handy.
A ver qué nos cuenta. Estaba farfullando algo.
A mina bird.
Una mina. No somos argentinos, si no sería otra cosa. Una minita. Vale, dar de comer al pájaro. Bayas rojas. Ahora que lo matemos. Waldo.
Sarah de Richet? Waldo, you know Sarah? What? Repeat that, Waldo. Sarah? What about Sarah?
Hostia, el puto pájaro.
Good God, what's been happening here?
No tengo más bayas.
Well, Waldo, is your master good? I don't really know what I was expecting.
Quizás si le damos más comida sea más sobornable. No. No. Vale. Estos son más bayas. Tal vez se le puede sobornar un poco más. ¿O no? ¿Esto qué
Let's
es?
take a closer look.
¿Tabaco? ¿O cacao? ¿O chocolate? Vale, examinemos el chocolate.
Judging by the shape, I'd say they're Criollo cocoa beans. The chocolate of the Mayas. The rarest of the beans. Some even say they're an aphrodisiac. When a product is in fashion, people attribute all sorts of virtues to it, not to be given to animals. Dark chocolate beans. Very bitter. They're greatly prized in high society.
Vale, el postre más a la moda, vale. Vamos a ver. Aquí había algo para no gastar. ¿No? ¿Cuál era el de para no gastar? Era el 4.
These chocolates are probably a protocol gift. Everybody in Europe loves them nowadays. Marie Antoinette, the Queen of France, has her own personal chocolate maker at Versailles. They say it's her guilty little morning ritual before getting dressed. A cup with 1 sugar and some vanilla, if I remember rightly. I would be surprised if Mortimer has them delivered straight from South America.
Estoy pensando que lo he jugado mal, tanto ahora como en la anterior, porque esto valía 1 punto, con lo cual hubiese sido mejor gastarlo y guardar esto, que es bastante complicado de obtener, que es para que los puntos nos cuesten gratis en una acción, para aquellas acciones que cuesten 3 o más. No ha estado bien jugado, pero bueno, de los errores se aprende. Vale, pues esto estaría, chocolate examinado, nos apartamos, vale. Mierda. A ver. Quitamos las alteraciones. A ver qué tenemos por aquí.
It's a book on the history of the Crusades. I don't think it has any connection with my research.
Vale, no vale de nada ese libro. Eso tampoco puede ser porque el cuadro dijeron que era ese. Ahí está, con el caballo y la mujer. Pero antes vamos a ver qué hay por aquí. El astrolabio este en teoría ya lo habíamos visto, ¿verdad? No, ¿qué coño es?
As if Mortimer is fond of complicating things sometimes. Well, I hope I never have to try and unlock it.
Vale, y esto, si no me equivoco, cuentas correspondientes al año 1792. 8.156 libras comida, 6.900 libras velas. Bueno, esto es la lista de la compra de un rico. 280.000 libras obras maestras. Hijo de puta. Estimado señor Guido Poletti, le escribo en relación con las fechas de los cuadros que le envié para su exposición temporal. Tenga en cuenta que forman parte de mi colección privada y por consiguiente están fechados de acuerdo al calendario masónico o AL en uso en ese momento. Como puede haberse imaginado, debe restar 4.000 años a las fechas de las obras si quiere evitar desconcertar a los visitantes. Ni que decir tengo que el año masónico o AL comienza en marzo, no en enero. Cerca del cuadro de Longino, debo comentarle que me ha tomado la libertad de retocar la lanza para que se corresponda con la original. Le ruego encarecidamente que haga lo mismo en su copia. Atentamente, Lord William Alexander Mortimer, marqués de Westfordshire. Vale, pues vamos a ver qué nos tiene que decir este cuadro. ¿Qué hay detrás del misterio del cuadro este?
This must be what my mother was talking about. Now just need to find out what she meant by go beyond.
Está buscando un botón secreto.
Hey, looks like it's mounted on rails on each side. It should lift up, I think. There must be a mechanism somewhere.
Quizá alguna lámpara o columna, que haya un botón. O algún libro que le tiremos de él y... por ese lado. Uy, esto antes no estaba. Ajá. Que hay una caja fuerte. Una contraseña, no, me cago en... ¿A qué voy a tener que jugar ahora con la lista de la compra? Me cago en...
What on earth is this? A ring lock now? Great. That's all I needed.
A ver. Encuentra un mecanismo para moverte. ¿Qué pone ahora? Encuentra el código de la puerta oculta. Los cojones. ¿Será el 4000 este? Debe restar 4000. Con fe. Vamos a tirar para adelante. Ah, espera. Si no... Vale, no, nada. Estaba pensando yo que igual era la fecha del cuadro de ahí restándole el 4000. Pero ese cuadro ya no se puede ver qué fecha es, así que... 4000. Ah, coño, qué bueno. Vale, 4... Veis, es que ahora era el momento de usarlo de gratis, porque cada una de estas mierdas cuesta 3. Carajo. Vale, pues vamos a hacer esto.
It's a complex mechanism. Looks like the third ring is a bit seized up. It gets stuck on number 9.
Vale, y esta la metemos de gratis.
Looks like there's a marker on number 1 on the second roller.
Vale, apartarse. O sea que aquí... está trabado en el 9, decía, vale. Y aquí un 1. Vale, ¿y el resto qué? Los deduzco. Por ciencia infusa. Fijarse en algo, a ver. Yo lo puse bien para empezar, ¿no? Tercer anillo está algo trabado, se queda atascado en el 9, vale. Y el otro es el 1. Vale, pues tenemos un 1 y un 9. A ver si hay alguna fecha de algún cuadro.
A painting depicting the Third Crusade. It's titled Winter Before the Fall of Saint-Jean d'Acre.
Su puta madre. 5. Situar la escena.
The Siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre was a major conflict during the Third Crusade. Richard the Lionheart and Philip Augustus fought to take the town back. It was the Crusaders' first operation to take back the Kingdom of Jerusalem.
Fue el primer movimiento de los cruzados para reclamar el reino de Jerusalén. Vale, o sea que igual es alguna batalla, la fecha de alguna batalla icónica que tiene que ver con los cruzados, que a su vez tienen que ver, ¿no?, con todo ese misticismo de los masones y demás. Entonces, siglo medieval. No sé si es en el 900 y pico o en el 1100 y algo. Y desde luego no me sé el último número. A ver, aquí... Joder, que bien me venía ahora tener lo del elixir, me cago en la
William
leche.
Alexander Mortimer I, the 12th month of Anno Lucis, 5190.
5190. 1 y 9. Vale, 5190. Vamos a probar con esta fecha. Y si no, 5190. Pues vamos a probar a meterle un 5 aquí, entonces. A ver, me cago en la leche.
Damn it.
Cago
Doesn't
en
work.
puta.
5190. I was pretty sure it was right. Maybe I didn't use the right dating system.
A ver si ahora este libro nos dice algo.
History of the First Crusades by Pierre Amédée de Rassaud. Hey, the dates indicate AL and it looks like 4,000 years have been added to our calendar. Oh, that counting system again.
Tío, matemáticas no, me cago en... Tercera cruzada.
The famous call of Pope Urban II. 20 years after the capture of Jerusalem from the Arabs by the Turks, Urban II convened the council. He promises a plenary indulgence to Christians who go and get Jerusalem back from the Turks. The result, the Jewish community on the road to Jerusalem found itself persecuted for no reason. 12,000 Jews would perish, not to mention the massacre of Ma'ara, where acts of cannibalism by Frankish crusaders were reported, or even the capture of Jerusalem, where approximately 30,000 were left dead. It signaled the beginning of centuries of wars of religion.
Vale, segunda cruzada.
Or how Louis VII, King of France, eager to be pardoned for the death of thousands of innocent people in the fire of the Church of Vitry, convinces the Pope to authorize him to lead his own crusade. The result, in Germany, a new outburst of violence against the Jewish community, and a monumental fiasco by poor Louis VII, cuckolded by his wife's uncle. The famous call from Pope Gregory VIII in his Audita Tremendi Bull of 5,187. Oh, the crusade where Richard the Lionhearted distinguished himself. It states the first sea blockade of Saint-Jean d'Acre was broken in the 12th month of 5,190,
5190.
whereas the siege had been going on for 2 years.
Relacionar al autor con las fechas. Vale, esto tiene un 2, pero nos vale 0. A ver.
The author is Pierre Amédée de Rassaud, none other than the Grand Master of the Masonic Lodge of Paris. Now I understand why the dates are offset. He's using dates based on the Anno Lucis, year 0 of the Masonic calendar, by adding 4,000 years to the Gregorian calendar. But I thought that calendar starts in March.
Tío, que no me apetece pensar, me cago en todo.
The Crusades took place not long after the year 1000.
Vale,
Here all the
año 1000.
dates say 5,000 and
Y
something.
todas las fechas son procedentes del año 5000. Supongo que este sistema de fechas empieza 4000 años antes de nuestro calendario. O sea, hay que restar el 4000.
Yet, I'm getting the feeling that there's something else, another small detail, but what is it?
Vale, este 5149 podría ser una fecha entonces, porque si nos dice que el 1... Ay, no, coño. Un 1 y un 9. Este, 5192 puede ser, que es la fecha, pero claro, era la fecha... 5192 menos 4000 será solo 0192. A ver. Porque este... La fecha del tío... A ver, un momento. La fecha esta... ¿Era también 5192?
William Alexander Mortimer I.
5190.
Anno Lucis, 5,190. That's a funny date. That date in 5,000 or something again. I wonder what in the world it means. The date's calculated in Anno Lucis. 12th month is February? So that makes it February 1191.
1191, retroceder. Vamos a probar con 1191 a ver si hay suerte. Por época de cruzadas me cuadra. Me cago en... Crucemos dedos. Bien. Vale.
Open sesame.
Estoy viendo que tenían por ahí el cuadro este famoso de la disección de Rembrandt, ¿puede ser?
Let's see what you've been hiding, Lord Mortimer.
Bueno, pues si os parece, lo vamos a dejar aquí y vamos a continuar el próximo día buscando pistas en el estudio de Lord Mortimer. A ver qué cosas podemos descubrir y si encontramos alguna pista sobre nuestra madre. Así que hasta la próxima.